From 230 painters to multiple seven-figure business owners, I'm Carmelo, and I'll be giving you the insider secrets that take your trades business to the next level. From crazy stories to proven strategies, get ready to supercharge your business with us. Welcome to the Dirty Painters Podcast. So I know this is a little bit of a weird setup, and you guys are just seeing me or listening to me right now, but I'll be giving you the blueprint of a $1 million cabinet painting shop. Let's get right into it. So the math, $1 million, seven figures. I'm a math guy. I love putting everything down in numbers so I can get a better understanding of them. So what it would take to make $1 million a year just from your cabinet painting shop. So let's say 52 weeks in a year. Let's take 2 weeks out for either vacation, holidays, or whatever. You're not just going to be working every day for the whole year. So you got 50 weeks. That's about $20,000 a week worth of revenue. So if you put it down to kitchen cabinets, you either do 2 a week where they're $10,000 or more, 3 a week where they're $6,700 or more. Or if you want to just push volume, you're going to have to do 4 at $5,000 or more, which if you're just on your own, that's impossible. I've talked to a few guys where they're like, oh yeah, I want to just make $1 million just painting cabinets just by myself. If you work yourself to the ground, you'll be lucky if you make $250 a year because you can only handle so much. But in this episode, we'll set the foundation so that way you can get everything going, your SOPs, find your efficiency strategy, either get your shop first too, and then learn the industry. So in the beginning, you need to understand your target audience. Who's your ideal client? Is it homeowners? Is it general contractors? Is it designers or realtor referrals from a new development that's been built right now near your city? So when you find your ideal audience, then you can target your marketing towards them. So let's say, for example, you're in a city where your neighbors are affluent, so a lot of them will hire designers. So you try to help your local designers and show them your work, like, hey, this is what I do. If you ever need painting and fine finishes like cabinetry or furniture, any of that stuff, feel free to reach out to me. And also, those people, you need to sweeten the deal a little bit and offer a referral program. Another example, GCs, general contractors. Those guys will fill up your pipeline and make sure you have work throughout the year, but they're not going to be your most profitable projects since they're not looking for the highest quality. They're just looking to meet their budget and also bring good quality work. But they're good to fill up your pipeline and also help you learn the industry, perfect your finishes, and move on to your designers or your homeowners. A good rule of thumb is I like to keep my percentages at about 75 to 80% homeowners, 15 to 10% designers, and then 10% to 5% general contractors. It's good to diversify a little bit and not just put all your eggs in one basket because the homeowners and the GCs, they'll always keep you busy. Your pipeline will always be full, but the designers will be your higher profit margin projects. So you don't need to just do, oh, I'm only going to be working with homeowners or I'm only going to be working with designers. You need to diversify a little bit so you're not twiddling your thumbs and waiting for projects to come your way. Before you even begin applying any paint on cabinet doors, we need to figure out your foundation by establishing your business structure. We operate as a sole proprietor, LLC, partnership, corporation. Each has its advantages and disadvantages, so I'd recommend speaking to your CPA about approaching the right strategy with your vision and also getting the necessary licenses required. Some states you need licenses, some states you don't. So research those and make sure you're operating a legal operation. Here's what you need to start. In the beginning, if you live in a state where, basements are allowed and your house has a basement, that's great for your starter workshop where you'll be finishing your cabinets, or if you have a garage, you can also do that there. You only need about 300 to 500 square feet of space to start cranking out at least one kitchen a week on your own. The necessary tools you'll need will be your drills, a pump, just like a GX19, your hand tools, like a screwdriver, your caulk gun, sanders, masker, zip walls are necessary if you want to put up plastic barriers on your kitchen frames. Basically anything you'll need to complete a project from point A to point B. A strong brand will set you apart from the painters that paint cabinets. You're a cabinet refinisher. Think about that. Your company name, logo, overall aesthetic can express what your company is about to your customers without saying a word. A neat logo, a professionally done website, your branding will reflect the quality of your work. Take our Instagram page, for example. We're the glass masters. We have a glass factory. All of our cabinet refinishers, they can get spectacular finishes, almost immaculate. Customer lands on the page. They look at the highlights. They're neatly organized. The befores and afters. The pictures are exactly the same. With as soon as you tap the story, the next picture is the kitchen painted afterwards. So having a neat brand, showcasing your work will set you apart from the cabinet painters, the painters that can paint cabinets, or you as a finisher that you refinish cabinets. Another thing, you need to source your materials that you're going to be using. If you want to charge finisher prices, you can't be using the Emerald Urethane, the Gallery Series, the Breakthrough, the Command, any of those paint store brands that are classified as trim or cabinet finish materials. You need to be sourcing your 2K polyurethanes. So what I would do is call around, see usually your local Benjamin Moores, because they're independently owned. They will distribute materials like that. Call them up, ask them like, hey, do you guys carry any 2K polyurethane? Do that for all the stores within a 20-mile radius. And then you can find some that either supply Renner, Gemini, Centurion, whatever. And those stores, they're great because they can also demo the products for you. So they can come out to your shop or your basement or your garage, wherever you start refinishing your doors and cabinets, bring you a gallon, showcase you the product, like, hey, this is what it does, this is how you use it, these are the breaking points, test them yourself, this is the data sheet, these are the quirks of the product, and you can play around with it. And one thing I like about the quirks is every time I go to any sales appointments and I list off quirks like, oh yeah, it's water repellent, oh yeah, it's chemically resistant, and I showcase all those to the customers. They're all positive things, but nobody will ever use a chemical to clean their cabinets because, let's be honest, they can never get that dirty no matter what. But it's like when you go to buy a car and the salesperson says, oh, look, it has a moonroof, and you're like, wow, a moonroof. You never really use it. I'm guilty of that myself. I have moonroof on my truck, and I've never used it, but I liked it. So customers love hearing those little quirks and features of the products. Now, building your portfolio. Document all the projects you do. Your portfolio can be your Instagram page, as it's a free platform to post and showcase your work. No need for any fancy cameras. Your phone can take care of great quality pictures showcasing befores and afters, or videos of you spraying a door or the kitchen frame. Leverage your social media to show your work and also build your local audience while also building your brand. We've talked about this in the past. Instagram is free, so not having a page, you can lose a lot of eyes. A lot of people are on their phones nowadays. Scrolling has become a natural habit for everybody on their phones, and posting oddly satisfying videos will definitely help you push into some target local audience so they can see like, oh, this guy's in my area, he's doing kitchen cabinets, looks oddly satisfying, he's spraying them, look at the transition of the colors. You can gain a follower, you can gain a potential customer that's local. Building your portfolio and using social media as a tool to showcase it for free is a game changer. And the way you can do that is in the beginning, if you want to just paint your own cabinets, or if you want to go to Facebook Marketplace. Just the other day, I was there just doing the research on my own, and I was looking up free cabinets. People just leave them on the curb. You can drive by and pick them up, or you can just message them like, hey, can I come pick those up? Some of them are even $5, $10, but they're a good start for you to start experimenting with products, time frames, primers, basically just getting your process down. And also, while you're getting your process down with those, you can also get some action shots of you spraying, you showcasing the work, like, hey, this is me scuff sanding, hey, this is the degreasing part of the process, hey, this is the primer, anything you can think of, record content of it, and post it. After you perfected your process with those doors, you can use them as sample doors. GCs, homeowners, on your sales appointments will love to see samples of your work because words come out of everybody's mouth, but unless you show your product, that's when you can back up your talk. Once your online portfolio is set up, you can start exploring the different marketing strategies that I'm going to introduce to you right now. Obviously, social media is very powerful, so you can start with social media advertising. Instagram and Facebook are great for visual content, and they're a very powerful tool to have in your arsenal, as a majority of people are on their phones scrolling. A good, oddly satisfying video will definitely grab the attention of some homeowners and get them interested into finding out what it takes to get your kitchen updated. Facebook and Instagram are great for local advertising and engaging your community. Remember, if some people don't buy now, they will later, and you need to be reactivating them by being consistent with your posting and advertising. Always be consistent with your posting. Never veer off into something different. If you have a brand, let's say you're not going to be posting your personal happenings, like posting your family and all that stuff in your business page. You need to have a personal page separate from that. I've seen a few people do that, and it's been hurting their algorithm, or it's been hurting them with the algorithm pushing them to their target audience. Oddly satisfying videos are the number one thing you need to be doing. Check your trending sounds and use those as well to help push into the For You page or the Explore page. Networking events, you can meet general contractors there, designers, realtors, etc. Me personally, I don't do them. I like going up to people's offices instead of networking events, or you can DM them on Instagram and then basically showcase them your work, or set up a meet, or do something for them for free. I think it's a better, more effective way than targeting them than just walking up to them at a networking event where they've had hundreds of people walk up to them, or tens of people, whatever. Hey, like, this is me, this is what I do, blah, blah, blah. Here, if you bring me any work, I'll give you a referral fee. They've probably heard that a million times. Also, another way you can stand out from the other guys that are like, oh, give me work, is you need to explain to them, like, hey, I'm an asset to you. I'm going to bring value to you and your clients. Having a skilled painter finisher on your team will be a huge pro or plus, and offer your referral incentive at the end to sweeten the deal and establish a mutually beneficial relationship with them. It's not just a one-way street. Both of you need to be benefiting from this key relationship. Another way for you to advertise is running promotions. When you're first starting out, you can offer, let's say, you're a first homeowner, you just bought your first house. Great. If you don't like the look of your kitchen, here's an offer I can give you. Kitchens ranging from 30 to 40 items. I can give you a $500 discount, or a range of $3,400 to $4,500. Just something to get your pipeline loaded and get your content bank filled. Another way for you to promote is to encourage your clients to leave reviews either on your Google or whatever. Even if they text you, that's still a review. You can put it on your review bubble on Instagram, which is why Instagram is a game changer. You can have your reviews there, which is what we do as well. Sometimes our clients, they will text us or email us, and instead of them just, us telling them, hey, that's great, can you go to Google and put that in words there? We just leave it on our review bubble, so we don't make our clients, because some of them don't even have Google accounts. So reviews, you can need to showcase those testimonials on your page to build trust with your potential new customers, because people love looking at the reviews. Like when you go to a restaurant, before you go there, yeah, you check the menu out, but you also check the reviews. Website SEO. Like I said earlier, you need a professionally done website. Doing it on your own, it can be hard, but if you're skilled and you can do it and make it look nice, sure. If you have the money to invest, you need to do it. And also, website SEO, you can do it as little as $200 a month. That way people searching for, let's say, keywords like cabinet painter near me, painter near me, it can bring you some leads from your local audience. These are the most effective marketing strategies for your cabinet painting shop, in my opinion. A strong online presence is key for this to work, to make sure you put a lot of effort into it. Okay, so now we've set up the foundation of our $1 million cabinet painting shop. Now, let's get started. So first, if you're just starting out and it's just your own, like I said, you can only do so much on your own. So just one cabinet painting job a week, you can fulfill that throughout 5 days. And the effective strategy that I would recommend for you is, let's say we got 7 days in a week. You start out your project on Saturday, pick up the doors and drawers. That gives you a head start on finishing those. And then Monday or Tuesday, you can go ahead and start on the kitchen frames. So you can fulfill that project by the end of Thursday or by the end of the week, Friday, until you get the hang of it. A skilled finisher can finish a project in 4 days, 4 to 5 days. If you're just starting out, I would push it to 5 to 6 days because you never know. You need to get the hang of it. Once you're starting out, like I said, you're going to pick up the doors and drawers a few days before you start your kitchen frames. So that way your timeline is not just all over the place. You explain to your customers, hey, I'm a one-man show. This will take me a little bit of time. So I'll take the doors and drawers, get a head start on those. And once I feel like I've made a good enough progress, which I'm estimating it's going to be this day or this day, I can come out and start on the kitchen frames as well. So that way your kitchen is not tied up since day one of me just going back and forth with the doors, the drawers, the kitchen frames, and then you start getting overwhelmed, quality drops, so you can focus on those first. Most people will be appreciative and that you're keeping them in the loop of how things are going to go and how your process is. Once you're starting out, that will be your ideal effective strategy. I've seen other people, they work in the same environment where they start, let's say, on a Monday, they take the doors and drawers off, they clean them, they sand them. Same with the structure, they mask it, everything. But you're not that experienced in the very beginning to do that. If you are and you feel like that's a system that works for you, feel free to do that because that's also a 4 to 5 day turnaround on your kitchens. Once you start picking up a few projects, you build up your portfolio, and you feel like you're starting to get more busy as the days go by. You're, let's say, almost a month booked ahead. Then you can start looking for helpers. A helper will help you out tremendously because your shop work could be cut down. You don't have to do the cleaning, the sanding, and then you also have an apprentice where you can start training to help you fulfill those projects faster. That way you can pick up more. Once you start hiring your new employees and training them, then you can start building your field crew. So once you have a good field crew set up where you feel like, okay, if I put either just this one guy, because one guy can also do that for you. If I just put this one guy or these two guys to just do the frames, hey, I can start Monday the frames and the doors and then be out of there by Wednesday or Thursday. Cutting down my time from 5 days to 3 or 4. And then you start expanding into doing more kitchens a week because you can feel like you can take more since you have more shop guys, more on-field guys where they're finishing the frames. So little by little, but I would recommend your apprentice perfects their prepping before they can even move to spraying. You don't want to rush into it because you're basically moving one step forward and 2 steps backwards. The more you expand, the more kitchens you take up, you're going to need more racks, you're going to need more room. You need to start looking at a shop. Check your local real estate market out there or find a realtor and tell them like, hey, I'm looking for a shop to rent, or drive around. Drive around and check for lease or for rent signs out there in your city and find a space that's ideal for you and your cabinet refinishing. Also check the regulations because some of them, they don't want paint shops around there, so you don't want to mislead those people. Setting up a shop will help you hire more people, bring more volume into it, and also do more work, getting you closer to that $1 million goal. Now that we've talked about a realistic timeline of when you should expect to start getting closer to that $1 million goal, in the meantime, you also need to be perfecting your craft. There's a lot of issues that can go wrong with some materials, like bridging is the most popular one, which is basically when some of the raised panels get those gaps filled. How do you tackle those? My best way of tackling those is using a dental pick, get in those after the primer, and always use an air compressor to dust those off because dust can pile up there, and as soon as you spray paint it, it gets clumped up. So in the meantime, you also need to be perfecting your craft because the more volume you do, you don't want your quality to decrease. You want it to stay the same as when you started, when you were just a one-man show and everything was basically almost perfect. Samples. Never, ever have samples that are too perfect. You don't want to set the expectations that, hey, your sample door is going to look just like your car's paint or all that stuff. Set the expectations there that, hey, if they're new doors, yeah, expect them to be perfect. But if they're used, they're years old, there's scratch, nicks, all that stuff, you're still going to be able to fill those imperfections. But at the end of the day, it's still just like a scar. that humans have. It's still going to show there at the right angle. Other issues you should be dealing with. In the beginning, you might have just one pump, but you need to be cleaning it thoroughly. You don't want to mix your primer with your paint until you get enough money to spend to have a primer pump in your shop where you're not contaminating your top coat with your primer. That's another mistake that you should be avoiding in the beginning. Just clean thoroughly when you're switching from primer to top coat. You have enough time then because you're just doing one kitchen a week or maybe 2 kitchens a week. So once you start building up your business and you're scaling to the point that, hey, this is wasting us time, we need to invest in another pump. And also another mistake you don't want to make is scaling or trying to expand faster than you should. Hiring more people than you can handle and keep busy, or getting the shop and at a time where you're not ready yet. You don't want to do those mistakes because you get backed into a corner. Once you feel like you have enough work in your pipeline to where you can keep your guys busy for 3 weeks to 4 weeks, that's when you can start looking at shops or maybe expanding into more employees, having a field crew and then maybe a shop crew. And you can start disassociating from the manual labor or a majority of it and start focusing on your scaling, building your key relationships, doing your sales appointments, setting up and refining your sales process. Your SOPs will already be set up in the beginning because you want to, once you're practicing with those sample doors, you also want to be building your standard operating procedure for your new trainees or new hires to follow. As a reminder, when you're building your $1 million cabinet painting shop, you need to be documenting everything, not just content-wise, but also process, doing your job cost analysis, all those numbers, so that way you can refine A, your pricing strategy, B, your sales process, and C, your SOPs, standard operating procedures. A successful $1 million cabinet painting workshop or shop without documentation, it's basically just like a body without bones. It just falls apart. So you need to be documenting everything, have everything organized. Again, $1 million cabinet painting workshop, it's you just can't do that within a year or maybe even 2 years. It's going to take some time. You need to be crawling, walking, and then you can hit the ground running once you have a established operation to where you have your employees, you have your shop, you have your credibility in the industry, in your local market, the brand. That's when you can start hitting your $20,000 a week revenue goal. So this was the foundational work and the timeline, the steps you have to take to start setting up your $1 million cabinet painting shop. This is a realistic timeline because, like I said, you're not going to do it within a year, maybe even not the second year. Third year, quite possibly, you need to be perfecting your craft first and then also building up your brand at the same time because it's just not going to happen overnight. Also, tune into next week where I'll be giving you some sales tips for selling cabinets for your $1 million cabinet painting shop and figuring out the best efficiency strategy from finishing your cabinet doors from point A to point B. This will wrap up the episode of the Dirty Painters podcast. Be sure to follow our business on Instagram at Olympian Painting and also all our personal accounts, Olympian_Redion and Olympian_Karmelo for more content. And keep up with our episodes on the Dirty Painters podcast. If you like this episode, be sure to share it with a fellow painter or tradie. Until next time, I'm Karmelo, signing off from the Dirty Painters podcast.